Okay, this is lecture 28 of basic calculus 1. If you remember, we had introduced the notion of definite integral, then discussed about the fundamental theorems of calculus. Fundamental theorem of calculus had two parts. One is how to show integral of the derivative and integral of f prime x equal to f of x, which is in the indefinite integral form. Also you can express that in definite integral form, and the other part was about derivative of the integral, right, d dx of integral a to x f t dt is equal to f of x. So, using these notions of fundamental theorem of calculus on definite integrals and indefinite integrals, we will try to solve some problems today. Okay, so, let us go to first example. Here we are asked to find the area of the region bounded by the x axis, the lines x equal to 0 and the line x equal to 2 pi and the curve y equal to sin x. So, we have plotted y equal to sin x this way. We want to compute the area of this region, which is in blue and also yellow. So, it is the sum of these two areas that should give. Okay. So, now we proceed to find the area. Always we write, since we are interested in the area, not the signed area. So, that will be equal to integral from x from 0 to 2 pi of mod of the function. So, sin x is the function, we have integral 0 to 2 pi mod sin x dx. Now, of course, at x equal to pi, the function is changing its sign. From 0 to pi, y equal to sin x remains positive. From pi to 2 pi, it becomes negative. So, mod sin x becomes sin x from 0 to pi and minus sin x from pi to 2 pi. So, we break that into two integrals. It is 0 to pi plus pi to 2 pi of mod sin x. Now, mod of sin x becomes sin x here in 0 to pi, and that is minus sin x from pi to 2 pi. So, we get these two integrals and their sum is the required area. Now, we integrate them. So, using our fundamental theorem, we know that minus cos x, if that is your function minus cos x, then its derivative is equal to sin x. So, the integral you see here is equal to integral 0 to pi minus cos x derivative dx. So, by fundamental theorem, that should give minus cos x evaluated at pi minus cos x evaluated at 0, which we write this way with a vertical line 0 to pi. Then similarly, other one is cos x from pi to 2 pi, because already minus sin x is there. So, this one gives really minus cos x prime for this one, and the second one is minus sin x, which is in the form pi to 2 pi cos x derivative dx. So, that gives you cos x in the integral. Now, we write them in the expanded form, that gives minus of cos pi minus at cos 0. So, plus cos 0 plus cos 2 pi minus cos pi, and now minus cos pi, that gives 1, cos 0 gives 1, cos 2 pi is 1 and minus cos pi is again 1. So, you get answer as 4. So, see, that is the way we have used fundamental theorem of calculus here, that integral of f prime x equal to f of x. But suppose you take the signed area, then you would have taken integral 0 to 2 pi sin x dx, and that would give you 0, because sin at this will give you cos of minus cos of 2 pi, as 2 pi and at 0 they both are same. So, it gives it value 0. Also geometrically you can see this area equal to 2, this area equal to really, if you take the integral pi to 2 pi of sin x, that gives you minus 2. So, they really cancel and give you 0 in the signed area, and you can revert back by telling it is minus 2 mod, which is the area of the yellow one. So, their sum gives you the actual area, which is also equal to 4. So, let us go to second example. Here it is a slightly different one, not exactly sin x, but something else, but similar. Y equal to x cubed minus x square minus 2x is the curve, and we want to find the region bounded by this curve, then x axis, which is y equal to 0, and the lines x equal to minus 1 and x equal to 2. So, they are the points where the curve really crosses the x axis. So, that makes it easier, but even if it does not cross, it will be something like this, and you can take only integral up to those portions, right. Or if it goes beyond 2, then you may have to take this area also into consideration. Okay. Now, this is our area to find out. So, then what do we do? We take the integral of mod. So, now we must find out what is the sign of the function when x varies from minus 1 to 2, because these are the two lines minus 1 to 2. Okay. So, what we see, we can factorize x cubed minus x square minus 2x, take x as common, you get if you multiply them, you get x square plus x minus 2x, which is x square minus x minus 2, x square minus x minus 2 times x. So, this is the correct factorization. Now, this means, well, x you can take out whether it is positive or negative. Now, let us think about minus 1 to 2. So, obviously, we break into at 0, that is what the geometry suggests. Now, the interval is minus 1 to 2. So, if you take the first interval minus 1 to 0, say x belongs to minus 1 to 0, then x, it is somewhere here, then x plus 1 is x minus 1, which is positive, and x minus 2, which is negative, because 2 is bigger than x, and x is already negative. So, their product will be positive, that is f x is greater than or equal to 0. At some point it can be 0, namely 0, and also at minus 1. So, f x is greater than or equal to 0 for minus 1 less than or equal to x less than 0. That is what the graph also says. Next, if you go to any point between 0 and 2, x is positive, x minus 2 is negative, x plus 1 is positive. So, you would get negative, that is f x is less than or equal to 0 for 0 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 2, and that is also shown correctly in the picture. So, then the area will be modulus of this from minus 1 to 2 integral, that we can now break. Mod f x we know it is equal to f of x when it is from minus 1 to 0, and it is minus f of x when f x is in 0 to 2. So, you would write that as two integrals. It is mod f x, that is x cubed minus x square minus 2 x when x is from minus 1 to 0, and it is minus of x cubed minus x square minus 2 x when x is from 0 to 2. Then we integrate. So, here we use fundamental theorem. X cubed integral is x fourth by 4, because if you differentiate x fourth by 4, you would get back x cubed, and then minus x square gives minus x cubed by 3, minus 2 x gives minus x square. That has to be evaluated at 0, evaluated at minus 1 and subtracted. So, this is the notation. We just omit this vertical bar sometimes when there is a bracket already. So, that is just a simplification of the notation. Then similar thing comes here, but with the negative sign on the outside, it is 0 to 2. So, we write their values. So, at 0 this becomes 0, at minus 1 this is minus 1 to the power 4 by 4 minus minus 1 cubed by 3 minus minus 1 square. So, that gives you 1 divided by 4, and this becomes plus 1 by 3, and this is minus 1. Similarly, the other one if you take at 0 it is gone, at 2 only there. So, it is minus at 2 it is 2 to the power 4 by 4 minus 2 to the power 3 by 3 and minus 2 square. So, if you simplify, you would get 5 by 12, this is your 5 by 12 and this gives you 8 by 3. So, that means the area here in the blue one is 5 by 12 and the brown one is 8 by 3, right, minus 8 by 3 if you take the signed area. So, but automatically this minus goes because we have gone mod fx. So, this becomes 5 by 12 plus 8 by 3 which it should, and then you get the area as 37 by 12. So, again because throughout it is negative, so we could have taken its signed area modulus to get the area and add them off. That is same thing as whatever calculation has been done here. Okay. So, we go to next example. Here we are not computing the area, but something else is asked. The function f of x equal to x to the power minus 2 is non-negative on minus 1 to 1. Okay. That is clear. And minus 1 to 1 f x dx must be non-negative. Because of this argument, we are thinking that if integrand function is non-negative, then integral also should be non-negative. But if you calculate exactly, minus 1 to 1 x to the power minus 2 dx is minus x to the power minus 1 evaluated at 1 and minus 1. So, that gives minus 1 to the power minus 1 minus minus 1 to the power minus 1. So, that gives minus 1, this is again minus 1. So, you get minus 2. Why is it happening? We first thought that my integral minus 1 to 1 must be non-negative, but if you compute actually we are getting minus 2. What is the reason? Well, reason is not difficult to give. The first line itself, if you see, it is non-negative, but then there is a caveat there. We see that it is not defined at x equal to 0, it blows off, right. So, f x is not defined really on minus 1 to 1, it is not a function over minus 1 to 1. Of course, it is defined on minus 1 0 to 0 to 1. So, we could have broken that into sum of two integrals using our convention if at one point is not defined. So, you can break it, say, of course, it will be a different problem, it will be something like minus 1 to 0 x to the power minus 2 plus integral 0 to 1 x to the power minus 2. What about this integral? Even if it is not defined at 0, this integral may be defined. Well, but what happens near 0, x becomes very large, 1 by x to the power minus 2 becomes very large when x approaches 0. So, this function is really unbounded. So, since unbounded, it might become infinity, in minus infinity or whatever. There is no minus because it is non-negative. So, it will become infinity. That means, its integral does not exist, right. If it is unbounded, we have defined only integrals for bounded functions. So, this integral, since integrand is unbounded, this integral does not exist, and that is the reason for this paradoxical result. You can manipulate in many ways to get different result also, right, because the integral does not exist. Okay, that is just a quiz type of problem. We have to really be careful whether it is a function or not, whether it is becoming bounded or unbounded in its domain. Those have to be seen before applying our fundamental theorem of calculus, because that assumes all these things, that the integrals exist. In fact, that should be continuous and so on. Okay, let us go to next problem. We want to find an antiderivative of this function, which is given as 1 by 3 x to the power minus 2 by 3 plus 4 times secant 3x into tan 3x. So, antiderivative means whose derivative will be this function, right. So, we go straight forward because we can use our limit properties, let integral of f plus g will be integral of f plus integral of g provided they exist. So, we go for the indefinite integrals. Now, 1 by 3 x to the power minus 2 by 3 would give us this 1 by 3 1 divided by 1 minus 2 by 3 x to the power 1 minus 2 by 3 plus c1 for some constant, that is the antiderivative, general antiderivative. So, that we can express as x to the power 1 by 3 plus c1. Okay. Similarly, integral of secant 3x tan 3x is 1 by 3 secant 3x, because if you take secant 3x, differentiate it, it would give secant 3x into tan 3x into 3. So, we have divided 1 by 3 plus C2. So, the antiderivative will be sum of these two, but be careful where it is defined. Wherever it is defined, this will be the antiderivative, that is the meaning. At x equal to 0, of course, the function itself is not defined, fine. Okay. So, we go, this is just using the limit properties and of course, fundamental theorem of calculus, which is always used implicitly. So, we want to find the indefinite integral of this function 4 plus root x by x cubed plus 2 by 5 tan square x. Sometimes it is better to expand it and write separately as sum of some things, so that we can use our earlier theorem. So, it is really 4 x to the power minus 3 plus x to the power half minus 3. So, that is minus 5 by 3 and plus 2 by 5 tan square x. That is how it looks. So, we have to find indefinite integral of this, indefinite integral of this, indefinite integral of this, and then add them up. So, we go for x to the power minus 3 first, which is 4 times that. So, x to the power minus 3 is x to the power m plus 1 divided by m plus 1 for m not equal to 1. So, that is x to the power minus 2 by minus 2 plus C 1. Similarly, minus 5 by 2 gives x to the power minus 5 by 2 plus 1, which is minus 3 by 2 divided by minus 3 by 2 plus C 2. And then for tan square x, we see it is secant square x minus 1, and secant square x we get by differentiating tan x, 1 we get by differentiating x. So, its integral is tan x minus x plus C 3. Then we multiply with appropriate constants and get back our indefinite integral. So, integral of f x, which is this one, is 4 times the first integral, then plus the second integral plus 2 by 5 times the third integral. So, it is 4 times this, 4 times this one, plus 4 times C 1, 4 sometimes times C 2, some constant times C 3. So, they are all accommodated in plus C constant. So, we just go for their part where C is not there, and first one is minus 2 x to the power minus 2 by minus 2, second one is x to the power minus 3 by 2 by minus 3 by 2, third one gives 2 by 5 times tan x minus x, okay, plus a constant. So, you simplify, that becomes this one minus 2 by x square minus 3 by 2 into x to the power 3 by 2 plus 2 tan x by 5 minus 2 x by 5 plus a constant. That is the indefinite integral. So, we are going in detail now. After some time, you will do it quickly and get used to it. Okay. Let us get the third problem. We want to find one function f of x that satisfies two conditions. One is its derivative is 8x plus cosec square x, and when it is evaluated at pi by 2, we should get minus 7. So, that means our constant will be accommodated in such a way that f of pi by 2 should be equal to minus 7. First thing is we should find one indefinite integral here. Okay. So, this f prime x is really f x will be really antiderivative of f prime x. So, you compute for first the antiderivative of 8x plus cosec square x, and that is easy, because 8x integral will give 4x square, because if you differentiate 4x square you get back 8x, and if you differentiate cot x you get minus cosec square x. So, it is minus cot x plus c, that is the indefinite integral. Then we go for evaluating the c, finding out this c, so that the other condition is met. Other condition is f of pi by 2, which is minus 7, that is given. So, evaluating the left side, we get 4 into pi square by 4 minus cot of that is 0 and plus c, that is equal to minus 7 on the left side, that is on the right side it is pi square plus c. So, minus 7 equal to pi square plus c, or c equal to minus 7 minus pi square. Then we plug it into whatever we have got earlier, f x equal to that expression, and we get the required f of x. So, that is quite straightforward. Now, we go to next problem. We want to evaluate this definite integral, right. So, the limits are from 0 to pi, and the integrand is 2 times cosine square of x by 2 plus half times cosine x plus mod cosine x. So, look at mod cosine x. So, we must find out when is cosine x positive, when it is negative in the interval 0 to pi, when x varies from 0 to pi. So, first thing we get is when you take 0 to pi, we see that mod cosine x, so that is cosine x, let us say cosine x, from 0 to pi by 2 it remains positive, from pi by 2 to pi it becomes negative. So, we should break this interval 0 to pi to 2 different integrals for evaluating the second expression. But first expression we have no problem, it is cosine square x by 2. So, that is always of the same sign, it is positive. So, we go straight forward for the first integral as 0 to pi 2 cosine square x by 2, which is 0 to pi 1 plus cosine x using your cos 2x formula. So, whose integral is x, 1 gives x and cosine x gives sin x, because sin x derivative is cosine x. So, that is to be evaluated at 0 and pi, definite integral. So, we get back pi. And for the second one, so since cosine x mod equal to cos x for x in 0 to pi by 2 and mod cosine x which is minus cosine x for x in minus pi by 2 to pi, because cos x becomes negative. So, mod cos x becomes minus cos x. So, divide that for integral 0 to pi of this second one into 2 definite integrals. One is 0 to pi by 2, another is pi by 2 to 0. Okay. So, what happens for x in 0 to pi by 2, we go for this expression first. This is half of cosine x plus cosine x, which is 2 cos x. And for the second one, when x belongs to pi by 2 to pi, cos x mod becomes minus cos x. So, this becomes 0, right. So, cos x plus mod cos x is 0. Therefore, the integral from 0 to pi is really integral from 0 to pi by 2, other side becomes 0. So, you get 0 to pi half of cosine x plus mod cos x dx as 0 to pi by 2, and this is 2 cosine x. So, divide by 2, that gives cosine x, and its integral is sin x evaluated as 0 to pi by 2, which is 1. So, the required integral, definite integral, is sum of these two integrals, which is pi plus 1. Okay. So, we have to be concerned about where the function becomes positive and negative, because it was mod. That is the only thing done in this problem. Otherwise, it is straightforward application of fundamental theorem.